All right, now I'm pretty sure you all have seen this statement by the union by now. A response from the WNBA. I just want y'all to take a look at the length of the response, okay? This is what came out first. This is what the WNBA said. This is what they said, fam. Oh my goodness, man. Literally said, hey man, here you go. We done. All right, this is what they put out.
So picture this scene, and you'll understand exactly what's happening right now. The WNBA Players Union just pulled off what they're calling a symbolic labor protest right outside the NBA store in New York. Their big move? An inflatable rat holding up a sign that reads, "Get it together." But here's the kicker. The league's comeback was way more savage than the protest itself. We're witnessing a collective bargaining meltdown happening live. What's truly wild isn't that they blew past the January 31st deadline without any agreement. It's how badly the players are getting destroyed in the public opinion war they thought they were dominating.
Hey man, I don't mean to laugh at this entire situation, but at this point you have to, man. You literally have to laugh at this situation at this point, man. It's ridiculous what's going on, man. It's ridiculous. Just imagine you sent out this very thoughtful message about your relationship with your significant other, and then they say, okay. Now, I'm going to save you guys the time of reading this entire thing. I just want y'all to pay attention to this top, okay? They were talking about how the collective bargaining agreement had expired despite demonstrating how...
Check out this incredible difference. The Players Union drops this long, detailed statement about how the WNBA and its teams failed to meet us at the table with the same spirit and seriousness. They're going on about respect and being treated like real professionals. Then the league hits back with basically a corporate whatever, thanks in 3 sentences flat. Done. It's like the negotiation version of getting completely ignored. But here's the crazy part. The internet didn't jump to support the players like the union thought they would. Social media absolutely exploded with people roasting them. Comments flooding in like an inflatable rat. That's your big power play. Started pouring in immediately. The whole thing looked terrible. You've got Nafisa Collier, who was just being celebrated as one of the brightest basketball minds around, now tied to a protest that looks like some amateur college activism. Breanna Stewart, who's basically the face of the league next to Caitlin Clark, is part of union leadership that just called their bosses rats while asking those same bosses to pay them way more money.
Once again, right? And from my understanding from both sides, they're going to keep up with the status quo, basically saying they're going to keep negotiating the CBA, although the deadline is over with. They're going to have some type of moratorium proposal where they can at least try to start to get ready for the 2026 season if they have one. Now, what's crazy about that statement is all you can really do is say, hey, we're interested. Wait for the CBA to be done. Like, I don't know what else you can do, man. This is such a mess. You can't have the draft, right? You can't have the draft happen. You can't, and that's the expansion draft and the other draft. You can't have either one of those happening. You can't have anybody trading. You can't have anybody signing any deals. You can't do anything. You're at a standstill without this CBA being negotiated.
This gets really messy because what the players actually want makes sense when you break it down. They want revenue sharing, which happens in every single major sports league out there. NBA players take home around 50% of basketball money. NFL players get 40%. Even MLS players in a league still trying to build itself have revenue sharing worked out. WNBA players right now work under a system where salaries are just set caps instead of being connected to how much money the league actually makes. But there's a huge difference between wanting something that makes sense and actually knowing how to negotiate for it. Right now, we're getting a perfect example of how to completely mess up labor talks when everyone's watching. The minimum salary jumped from about $75,000 to over $200,000 in what the league put on the table. Maximum salaries went from around $230,000 to $1.3 million. These are absolutely massive bumps, the kind of increases that would have players in most leagues partying and signing right away.
What else can you do, man? It's such a mess right now. And the thing is, most players wait until certain players that played their position get signed for X amount of dollars so they can kind of have a clear understanding of where they stand at with their salary. They want to, see what's going on over here so I could possibly ask for this and say, man, I'm better than this player. So y'all should be able to give me this, right? Now, like I stated before, there are a lot of issues that comes with not signing the CBA, right? But Ramona Shelburne ended up bringing up something major that I almost forgot about. I want to read this to y'all, man. She ended up stating, while it doesn't seem like there are any immediate consequences to another formal or informal extent.
What the union won't talk about publicly is this. They turned down those offers not once, but multiple times. Each time they said no, they didn't just decline politely. They basically said, this isn't nearly enough. Go back and try harder. That works as a strategy when you actually have real power, but the big question is, do they really have any leverage right now? This is what nobody in union leadership wants to face head on. Power in these negotiations comes from being able to damage the other side worse than they can damage you. Back in 2020, when they hammered out the last deal, the WNBA was bleeding cash and absolutely needed players to accept terms that would keep the league alive. Players had real power then, but 2025 looks completely different. The league just finished a season where Caitlin Clark showing up drove TV ratings through the roof by over 300% for her games. Attendance records got smashed everywhere. Merchandise started flying off shelves, and sponsorship deals that seemed impossible just 3 years ago are happening now.
And arenas start to give dates away to other events. Now, when I finished reading this, the main team that I thought of was my beloved Atlanta Dream. Y'all know I'm in Georgia, so I have to go for them. Just a tad bit, all right? I have to go for them a tad bit. But we remember exactly what came out about moving that Indiana Fever game to State Farm Arena, and that was a conflict of scheduling, right? So if you had a conflict of scheduling when you had all this time to actually schedule these games, just imagine the headache and the chaos that you all are going to have having this small window frame to schedule all these games, fam. All right, and I'm not just talking about moving the Indiana Fever games to bigger arenas so y'all can capitalize the most. I'm talking about all these arenas, fam. The small arenas, the big arenas. I mean, all these arenas get scheduled for something else. Whether that's concerts, whether that's comedian shows, whatever, stand-up shows, whatever it is, man. These arenas get scheduled for all these other things.
This is exactly why fans are getting more and more annoyed with how the union is handling everything. Ramona Shelburne, who's one of the most trusted basketball reporters anywhere, just dropped something that should scare everyone involved in these talks. She said, I'm starting to hear increasing concerns about how this delay could affect scheduling next year. Translation, no deal means no schedule, and arenas start giving away dates to other events. Think about what that actually means day to day. The Atlanta Dream already dealt with scheduling disasters last season, with conflicts that forced them to move a Caitlin Clark game because State Farm Arena was booked for something else. That happened with a full year to plan ahead. Now imagine trying to put together an entire season with just weeks or maybe months of notice. Every WNBA arena handles multiple purposes. They've got NBA games, NHL games, concerts, conventions, college tournaments, Disney on Ice, monster trucks. These places book stuff 12 to 18 months out. Minnesota Lynx play in Target Center, which also has the Timberwolves plus major concerts. New York Liberty play at Barclays Center, one of the craziest busy venues on earth. Las Vegas Aces play at Michelob Ultra Arena inside a casino with its own insane scheduling mess. If this deal doesn't get done soon, teams won't just have trouble scheduling games. They'll have trouble scheduling games when people can actually show up. You might end up with Indiana Fever, the team everyone wants to see, because of Caitlin Clark playing Tuesday afternoon games because that's literally the only time left.
People are going to have such a hard time scheduling these games, fam. This is something that Nafisa Collier was not thinking about when she said, well, we're running Unrivaled this way, so y'all should be able to run the W this way. Well, this is a part of that other side of the fence that you don't necessarily see, fam. All right, this is the part of that business side that you don't be seeing when it comes to Unrivaled. You know, y'all are in one arena. Nobody is traveling. You have all these things to worry about when it comes to the WNBA, man. It's just crazy to compare responsibilities for Unrivaled to the WNBA. It's just completely in two different worlds, man. Let's say the CBA doesn't get done until March. Oh my goodness, can y'all imagine the chaos? I stated in one of my videos before, we're gonna need Noah's Ark to survive the flood of news that's gonna come in once the CBA is finished. Man, I mean, we're gonna have news left and right. Y'all probably gonna be tired of us YouTubers, man. When the news is getting dropped.
It gets even worse than that. No deal means no draft at all. Not just the regular draft where college kids join the league, but also the expansion draft for Golden State Valkyries, who are supposed to start playing next season. The Valkyries already sold thousands of season tickets. They hired their entire front office. They spent millions building their practice facility and getting operations running. Right now, they're completely stuck. They can't officially lock up their GM long-term. They can't talk to free agents. They can't make any trades. They're a franchise frozen in place, losing money every single day, while the union does photo shoots with inflatable rats. Free agency is completely stopped. Players who should be out there right now negotiating contracts and using the market to figure out what they're worth can't do anything. Role players who need to see what stars at their position get paid before they work out their own deals are stuck waiting. Teams wanting to make trades to build around their best players can't make any moves. The entire league is just sitting there because two sides can't figure this out. What's really getting to fans is most players aren't even backing the union's tough approach publicly. You're not seeing waves of social media posts from regular players saying stay strong, don't give in. What you're seeing is silence, which suggests lots of players look at what's being offered, deals that would more than triple some salaries, and think maybe we should grab this and try again in a few years when we're in a better position.
But man, they need to get this done, fam. Honestly, the last thing you guys want to do is add any more negative impact to you guys' income. All right? Y'all are waiting so late to get the CBA done. Like Ramona brought up, it's hard to schedule these games. And we know a lot of the teams do understand that Caitlin Clark has this crazy wave that they could capitalize off of, and they want to move those games to bigger arenas. It makes a lot of sense. It's a great business mindset to have, right, when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And y'all are making that tougher to do. We know that they have been struggling to make a profit, all right? They can make revenue, but they are not making profit.
Now you've got younger players starting to take shots at the veterans running these talks. Rika Jackson, while playing in Unrivaled, dropped comments that you can only read as criticism of the older players. She's talking about being young with money young and having fun while veterans are stuck in negotiations, making everyone look completely out of touch. It's not direct, but it's definitely there. The age gap in the WNBA is real and starting to show in ways that could split up union support, because here's what younger players are seeing. They watched Caitlin Clark create interest in the league that nobody had ever seen before. They see packed arenas and national TV coverage. They see their own social media exploding because the rising tide Clark created lifted everyone. Then they watch the union led mostly by veterans who played in the shadows for years possibly mess up all that momentum over demands that might not make sense given what the league actually makes money-wise.
On the line, let's just get this one done and then see what you can get next time. Y'all went from, what was the lowest, 60,000? 70,000? Y'all went from 70,000 to $250,000 as a minimum? Come on, man. Y'all went from 200,000, what was it, 200, maybe 50,000 as a max to 1.3 million. Yo, that's a huge increase, man. You know, take your dub where you can, fam. And then maybe down the line, y'all can figure something out to get that pie when it comes to the revenue. Y'all can get that pie to start favoring the W more. But anyway, to finish off the video, man, we have Reese Jackson throwing shade at the veterans, man. What is going on here after Breeze ended up winning another game last night in Unrivaled? Shout out to my Breeze, all right? Yeah, Reese Jackson throwing shots. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this.
Okay, we youngins. That's it. We're not nobody's kids, daughters, nieces. Y'all not sunning us. We young.
Let's dig into this revenue sharing demand, because this is where the union's argument completely breaks down. Yeah, the NBA has revenue sharing, but the NBA actually makes profit. The WNBA, according to every serious financial breakdown, still loses money. The league gets subsidized by the NBA for tens of millions every year. When you're asking for a cut of revenue while the league is bleeding cash, you're basically asking, owners to lose even more money, with a promise that someday, maybe the league will make profit, and then everyone wins. That's not crazy to ask if you're negotiating when owners desperately need you, but owners don't desperately need players right now. The league has momentum. Interest is higher than ever. The 2025 draft class looks strong. If current players decided to skip a season, owners could probably handle that better than players could handle a season without paychecks. That's not about right or wrong, it's just how leverage works in these situations, and players have to know this. Nafisa Collier is legitimately brilliant. Brianna Stewart has done big negotiations before. Nneka Ogwumike, another union leader, graduated from Stanford. These aren't people who don't get business, which makes their public approach even more confusing. Why do a protest that makes you look unserious when you're asking to be taken seriously? Why compare your employers to rats when you need those employers to choose to pay you more? Why let the January 31st deadline pass without a deal when every day makes things worse? The only thing that makes sense is union leadership really thought the public would support them. They figured fans would see the inflatable rat and think, yeah, fight those owners. They thought the story would be greedy billionaires refusing to pay women what they deserve. Instead, the story became delusional players who don't understand business, turning down great offers while doing embarrassing publicity stunts.
All that. Y'all want to be us. They keep calling us kids, but ain't it more embarrassing to get beat by kids?
Oh, man. Now, she could be playing, I don't know, but shots fired, man. Shots fired at the veterans, man. Y'all better respond. You got 24 hours to respond. I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about everything that's going on with the WNBA and the CBA negotiation. I know it's an exhausting thing to talk about, but I had to update you guys after the deadline has been passed. Let me know in the comment section. I love y'all. Y'all keep it smooth.
So right now, here's exactly where things stand. The deal expired January 31st. Both sides say they'll keep talking, but there's no deadline, no pressure, no real consequences for dragging this out forever. The league put out a statement about some moratorium idea that would let teams at least start preparing for a possible 2026 season. But that's not fixing anything, it's just a temporary patch. Meanwhile, every single day makes the scheduling disaster worse. Every day gives arenas more reason to book other stuff instead of holding dates for a league that might not get its act together. The players are learning something every labor union figures out, eventually. Public sympathy runs out. You can be right about what you deserve and still lose the public opinion battle if you handle it terribly. WNBA players are discovering that being underpaid compared to the value you create doesn't automatically mean people will support you holding out for more when you're already being offered life-changing money. Look at it from a fan's perspective. The average WNBA fan probably makes $50,000 or $60,000 a year. They're supposed to feel bad for players turning down offers that would pay them $200,000 minimum over $1 million maximum to play basketball 4 months a year. Yes, those players create more value than they get paid. Yes, the owners are billionaires who could afford more. But when you're asking working-class fans to back your labor fight while doing protests with inflatable rats and demanding revenue percentages from a league that doesn't make profit, that's a really tough sell. The union's biggest mistake was thinking momentum from 2024 would turn into negotiating power. But being popular doesn't automatically equal leverage in labor talks. Leverage comes from your ability to hurt the other side. Right now, players' ability to damage owners is pretty limited. If there's no 2026 season, owners lose money, but players lose their entire income. Owners have other businesses, other investments, other ways to make money. Most WNBA players don't. Caitlin Clark could sit out a season and make more from endorsements than playing. Most players can't do that. Most players actually need that WNBA salary, even if it's not what they deserve. Union leadership seems to have forgotten that when they decided to play hardball. Here's probably what happens next. Negotiations drag on for more weeks or months. The union slowly figures out they don't have the power they thought they did. They accept something close to what the league offered already. Maybe with some small wins that let them claim victory. Everyone pretends it was fair negotiation. Then, in 3 or 4 years, when the league hopefully makes more money, they try again with real leverage. But the damage from this mess will stick around. That inflatable rat becomes a meme following these players for years. The image of union demanding respect while doing what looked like amateur college protests will be hard to forget. Most importantly, The goodwill players built during 2024 season, the feeling that WNBA was finally breaking through and deserved more support, got partially wasted by negotiating tactics that made them look disconnected from reality. The worst part is players have real complaints that make sense. They do deserve a bigger share of revenue they help create. They do deserve better travel, better facilities, better everything. But you don't get what you deserve in negotiations by demanding it while holding an inflatable rat. You get it by building real power, by making yourself absolutely necessary, by making the cost of not giving you what you want higher than the cost of giving it to you. Right now, WNBA players haven't done that. They've shown the league can work without them for a while. They've shown public opinion can flip on them fast. They've shown their union leadership might not be as smart as everyone thought. None of that helps them get a better deal. So you have to ask yourself this. If you were a WNBA player right now, would you feel confident in your union leadership? Would you want to risk your income, your career momentum, your financial security on a negotiating approach that's already backfired in public? Or would you be one of the players quietly hoping leadership takes the current offer so everyone can move forward? Because I promise you there are players having exactly that conversation right now, wondering if this fight is worth what they're giving up.